Hello students, welcome to Legacy IS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about Organization of the Islamic Cooperation, also called as OIC in the short, and also how this particular organization or what kind of relation this particular organization has with India. And recently we are also going to discuss that why India has come at loggerhead with this particular organization. So let us start and delve deeper into this particular issue. So first of all, if we try to understand the context in which we are discussing today's topic, is because recently the OIC has asked or called upon the UN Human Rights Commission UNHRC to take necessary measures related to the issue of hijab ban that has been done in the state of Karnataka of India. To give you the background, the Karnataka government has recently issued an order in which any kind of religious clothing is not allowed in the educational institutions. That includes clothings like hijab. So, if any students want to enter into the government universities or schools or colleges, in that case they will have to remove their hijab, only then they will be allowed to enter into the institution premises. So, this is the whole issue on the basis of which it is considered by OIC as a discriminatory practices against the Islamic religion or the Muslim population, and that is why they have asked UNHRC to take necessary measures regarding to that. At the same time, OIC have also urged Indian government or Indian authorities to ensure the safety, security and well-being of the Muslim community while protecting their way of life. Here the way of life represents the freedom to dress as per their religious customs or as per their desire. Apart from that, it also has asked India that it should try to bring justice to the instigators and propagators of violence and hate crimes against Muslims, people who have participated in such actions in the India. However, India's response has been as per traditional. It has said that any decision that government of India takes or Indian authorities take is solely in accordance with the constitutional framework and mechanism, and thus India always follow the democratic ethos and the polity. And that is why, since India is a secular country, secularism is one of the most important ethos of Indian democracy. It does not differentiate or discriminate people or the citizens on the basis of religion. Thus, India has said that the whole claim of OIC as India targeting the Muslim population or having discriminatory attitude toward Muslim population is flawed. Now, let us try to understand that irrespective of this particular issue of hijab ban, how and what has been the traditional stand of India against this particular organization, that is OIC. So first of all, India believes that since Pakistan is a very important member of OIC, OIC is guided largely by the Pakistani interest, and that is why it has a communal mind and hijacked by the vested interest, indirectly attacking the Pakistan. India has released this statement, and that is why, since the organization is guided by communal mindset and by vested interest, India says that organization do not have proper appreciation of the realities. The realities being that India is a democratic country, a secular country, and it is guided by ethos and polity rather than the majoritarianism versus minoritarianism. And at the same time, India has said that OIC, since time immemorial, since the time of its formation, has always been used against India for propagation of nefarious attitude or nefarious propaganda by the Pakistani government and the Pakistani authorities. That has always been the traditional stand of India against OIC. Now, let us try to understand slightly brief about what is OIC and how many members does it have. So, with 57 countries as its member, OIC is actually the second largest multilateral organization after the United Nations. And in this, if you look at most of the countries that are member of OIC, they are Islamic countries or countries which are having very high number of Muslim population or Muslim majority countries, we can say. If you look at the map, you can clearly see that all the countries that are painted or colored in green color, they actually represent the member countries of OICs. Most of countries, as you see, are located in the Middle East and North African region, and few countries here and there in South America, as well as Indonesia is one of the largest members. Apart from these 57 permanent members, OIC also have 5 observer member or 5 states having observer status. Out of these 5 observer status, we have countries like Central African Republic, which are painted in blue in the given diagram. Russia, that is the largest country, which are also having observer status in the organization. Thailand, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and also Turkish Cypriot state, which is actually not recognized by United Nations as a separate country. It is considered as a part of Greece. However, Turkish government and Turkish forces have their stronghold there. So these are the 5 countries, 4 recognized and 1 non-recognized, who are given the status of observer in the OIC. The main objective or the main aim with or the main purpose with which the OIC was constituted somewhere in year 1969 was mainly to safeguard and protect the interest of Muslim populations or Muslim world in the spirit of promoting international peace and harmony among various people of the world. So it has two agendas. First, it wants to ensure the interest of the Muslim community is protected all across the world, in all the countries of the world, and at the same time it also aims to promote international peace and harmony by coexisting or by co-opting, or we can say having collaborating with the countries having people from other religion as in a majority. That is overall brief background of OIC. Now let us try to understand how and why OIC was constituted. So if you go into the background, actually it was constituted in year 1969 when the first annual summit happened in the Rabat city of Morocco, and it was the first Islamic summit conference that paved the way for setting up OIC as an organization. However, this summit was guided by an incident that is called as Al-Aqsa Mosque arson. To our viewers, let me tell you that Al-Aqsa Mosque is a mosque that is situated in the Jerusalem district or Jerusalem city of Israel, and it is equally revered by all the three Abrahamic religions, that is Islam, Christianity and Judaism. For all these three religions, Al-Aqsa Mosque have a very important and religious significance. For Islam, this mosque is important and significant because it is believed that from the pavement of this particular mosque, actually Prophet Muhammad has ascended into the heaven. However, somewhere in year 1969, an act of arson was conducted by an Australian national of almost 28 years old. He was later believed to be mentally challenged, and he actually burned the actually first pulpit of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and this actually enraged all the Islamic Muslim countries, and it is believed that it is also considered that this was an act which plunged the Middle East into its worst crisis since the Arab-Israel war. Following this arson incidents, then all the countries, especially the Muslim scholars and ulemas of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, they urged all the Islamic countries, Muslim countries, to come together and take certain actions regarding that. So this was the reason why the OIC was constituted. However, the OIC, currently known as Organisation of Islamic Cooperation, was known by the name of Organisation of Islamic Conference till year 2011 when its name was changed. Now let us try to understand how has been the relation of India with the OIC. So let us try to understand this with the perspective of a timeline. We can look at how development have happened. So first, as you know, that in 1969 OIC came into picture, and as India had 11% of Muslim population, India still has more than 10% of Muslim population of the world. It was believed to be having a genuine reason to be included as a member of OIC. However, in 1969, Morocco government invited Indian delegate with the then President Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad as the chief guest, and invited to the founding conference. But later on, as Pakistan did not want India to become member of OIC due to its own personal reasons and its own dispute with India on Kashmir and other related issues, they later on disinvited later and did not allow Indian delegates to attend the conference. Later on, after 1991, as LPG era has been introduced in India, India's economic recovery was very massive, very rapid, and witnessing this particular economic growth in India, Saudi Arabia considered that India can become an important economic partner of Saudi Arabia, and that is why they invited India to join as an observer. However, India by that time was not that much interested in joining the OIC because of multiple reasons which we will discuss later. So India stayed away despite having invitation from Saudi Arabia and from the OIC. Later, the new development happened in year 2018-19, when 2018 actually it was the 45th conference of OIC foreign ministers meeting, and this meeting was going on in the Bangladesh being a host nation and also having a friendly attitude toward India, invited government of India, or presented this proposal to the OIC committee that since India has a very large number of Muslim population, they should be actually included as a member or at least as an observer in the OIC community. However, Pakistan, they were not very pleased with this idea and they vehemently opposed the inclusion of India in the OIC. Later on, in 2019, as India's relationship with both Saudi Arabia and UAE in both economic front and strategic front improved, UAE invited India as a guest of honor in the 46th Foreign Ministers Conference that took place in Abu Dhabi. At that time, India accepted this invitation, and the then Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj actually headed the Indian delegation in this particular conference. So this is how the wind of changes has happened between India and OIC as a whole. Now let us try to understand that why India had been reluctant, since earlier it was very much interested in joining OIC, but later on its stance has changed. So let us try to understand why India is reluctant as of now to join OIC, either as an observer or as a member state. So first is the grounds of secularism. Now we know that India is a secular country, and that is why, to preserve its ethos of secularism, it does not want to join any such groupings whose basis of formation has been always a religious ground. OIC being coming into that criteria, India do not want to present itself into that particular category. Apart from that, the second reason also is India has to weigh the advantage of having a good, strong bilateral relationship versus the multilateral relationship. So suppose if India become a member of OIC, in that time obviously India has very strong relationship with the member countries at bilateral level, whether it is UAE, whether it is Saudi Arabia, or whether it is Maldives or Indonesia, and that is why if India become member of OIC, then the bilateral relationship can suffer due to the multilateral fora that is OIC. Apart from that, there is also an issue of Kashmir, and this is the most contentious issue, because if India become member of OIC, the OIC can actually pressurize India or try to put pressure on the multilateral forum, also try to issue some resolution and something like that, which India will have to always contest or present as a stand with. So it will be kind of headache for India to always discuss the issue of Kashmir in the fora of which it is a member. So these are the major three grounds on the basis of which India has shied away from being a member or observer of OIC. So let us try to understand what has been the stand of OIC on the whole Kashmir issue, which is the most contentious issue. So OIC is actually headed by Saudi Arabia. It is the most or strongest country in the forum. And OIC, though headed by Saudi Arabia, however, as Pakistan is the only member who is having nuclear power, which is a nuclear state, it actually tries to actually pressurize all other countries and also try to heavyweight all other countries, so that on the Kashmir stand, the OIC countries always favor Pakistan and always they try to criticize India's stand, whether it is about sovereignty of Jammu and Kashmir, whether it is about abrogation of Article 370, or whether it is a military standoff along the LOC or other regions of the Kashmir. So that is why, because the inclusion of Pakistan, the OIC always has adverse relationship with India on this particular issue. However, India has given a particular counter argument regarding any such resolution that has been passed by OIC regarding Kashmir. India clearly believes, and it has many times stated on the multilateral forums as well as on the United Nations forum as well, that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India, and that is why all the matters related to Jammu and Kashmir is strictly internal to India. And as these are the internal affairs of any country, the OIC do not have any locus standi to present its views on the issue or to take any decision on the issue or to pass any resolution in this particular this dispute. And India strongly believes that it is a bilateral issue, and Kashmir issue should be resolved by India and Pakistan by holding bilateral talks rather than discussing on any kind of multilateral forum, whether it is OIC or it is United Nations. Now let us try to understand that what is the current scenario if we try to gauge the relationship between India and OIC. So first of all, with passage of time, since the time of formation of OIC, a lot of things have changed, especially since 1990s, when India has become a kind of a regional economic superpower. It has developed a very close ties with powerful members of OIC such as UAE and Saudi Arabia. This membership or this partnership does not only include partnership at economic level, but also stretches far beyond up to being a strategic partnership, and also large number of Indian population, Indian diaspora is living in these countries, working in these countries, and that is why all these countries have very strong stake with the India. And that is why its effect we can see from examples, two examples that has happened. One was the Pulwama incident. After Pulwama incident, when India actually did a counter strike, surgical strike in the this terror camp of Pakistan occupied Kashmir, Pakistan actually vehemently opposed it. However, Saudi Arabia and UAE had taken a very neutral stance, or a very, we can say, the soft stance on India. At the same time, when India abrogated Article 370 in the Jammu and Kashmir, that time also two countries, the major countries UAE and Saudi Arabia, despite having Pakistani's opposition, have taken a neutral, we can say, a soft stance toward India. Not only that, even when in UAE has invited India in year 2019 for the Foreign Ministers Conference of OIC, that time Pakistan strongly opposed this and did not want India to become to be invited to the OIC Foreign Ministers Conference. However, UAE has rejected and condoned the Pakistan's view, and despite that they invited India. So these all shows that the bilateral relationship gradually is trumping the overall, we can say, this relationship that is between India and OIC. India has also been due to this confident of riding over any statement that is passed by the grouping, that they will able to tackle it and give befitting reply. So organization India has, as of now, India believes and India has always maintained this status that organization, that is OIC, is being used by a certain country, indirectly referring to Pakistan, which has a very abominable record on religious tolerance, radicalism and persecution of minorities. So since this state itself is included or itself is involved in such acts, it should not lecture on India about how they should conduct or how they should deal with the minorities. That has been overall development of India and OIC relationship till now. So that is all about this particular topic. I hope you understood the whole concept and the issue regarding India and OIC. And that is all for today. We will come back soon again with another interesting topic. Till then, take care. Thank you very much.